The baby monitor crackled to life at 3:17 a.m., but what Catherine heard through the static wasn't her son's cry. It was her own voice singing a lullaby she'd never learned to a child that wasn't there. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you're new here and you enjoy spine-chilling stories that blur the line between reality and nightmare, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me bring you more content like this. And I'm genuinely curious, where are you watching from right now? And what time is it where you are? Drop a comment below. It's always fascinating to know I'm sharing these dark tales with people all around the world, whether you're watching at midnight like I intended, or perhaps during your lunch break. Though I warn you, these stories might affect your appetite. Catherine Morrison had always prided herself on being the perfect mother. Her Instagram feed was a carefully curated collection of organic meals, educational activities, and milestone moments. Her 3-year-old son Elijah was her pride and joy, bright, articulate, and well-behaved. But perfection, as Catherine would learn, comes with a price that some are unwilling to pay. It started with the photographs. Catherine had always been obsessive about documenting Elijah's childhood. Every birthday, every first step, every adorable mispronunciation was captured and preserved. But lately, when she looked through her phone's camera roll, she noticed something disturbing. In photo after photo, there was a fourth figure in their family portraits, a pale child with hollow eyes, standing just behind Elijah. At first, Catherine dismissed it as a trick of the light, maybe a reflection or shadow. But the figure appeared in dozens of photos, always in the same spot, always staring directly at the camera with those empty, knowing eyes. "Mommy, who's the sad boy?" Elijah asked one evening, pointing at Catherine's phone screen. Catherine's blood ran cold. "What sad boy, honey?" "The one who follows us. He's always so sad. He wants to play, but you never let him." Catherine scrolled through the photos frantically, but she saw only her family, herself, her husband Mark, and Elijah. Nothing else. Nothing unusual. But Elijah kept talking about the sad boy. He would set an extra place at dinner, claiming the boy was hungry. He would whisper to empty corners, having full conversations with someone Catherine couldn't see. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. Catherine was preparing Elijah's bath when she heard him giggling upstairs. When she called for him, his voice came from the bathroom, but also from his bedroom, simultaneously. "Elijah?" she called, her voice shaking. "I'm here, Mommy," came the reply from both rooms. Catherine ran upstairs and found Elijah in his bedroom, sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at his reflection in the mirror. But the reflection wasn't quite right. It moved a fraction of a second too late, and when Elijah smiled, the reflection's smile was sad, haunting. "He wants to come home, Mommy," Elijah said without looking away from the mirror. "He says you took his place." Catherine grabbed her son and pulled him away from the mirror, but not before she saw something that made her scream. In the reflection, standing behind them both, was herself, but with that same hollow, accusing stare as the boy in the photographs. That night, Catherine couldn't sleep. She researched their house's history and discovered that the previous family had lost a child, a 3-year-old boy named Henry who had drowned in the bathtub while his mother was downstairs taking a phone call. The mother, consumed by guilt and grief, had eventually taken her own life. The next morning, Catherine found Elijah standing in the bathroom, staring at the filled bathtub. "Henry wants to show me something," he said simply. Catherine realized with growing horror that her obsession with documenting the perfect childhood had somehow awakened something that envied that perfection, something that wanted to reclaim what it had lost. Wyatt and Brooklyn thought they'd found the perfect babysitter in Lily Patterson. She was 19, studying child development, and came with glowing references from other families in their upscale neighborhood. Their 6-year-old son, Aiden, adored her, and for the first time in months, the couple felt they could enjoy a night out without worry. But Lily had rules, very specific rules. Never go into Aiden's room after 9 p.m., she told him seriously. Never, under any circumstances, wake him once he's asleep. And if you hear him talking to someone, don't investigate. Just leave the house. Wyatt and Brooklyn exchanged glances. It seemed extreme, But other parents had mentioned that Lily was particular about routines. They assumed it was just her professional approach to childcare. The first few times Lily babysat, everything went smoothly. Aiden would be fast asleep when they returned, and Lily would give them a brief report. He ate all his dinner, we played games, and he went to bed at exactly 8:30. No problems. But after the fourth time, Brooklyn noticed changes in Aiden. He became withdrawn, would stare at his bedroom door for long periods, and started asking strange questions. "Mommy, why doesn't Lily eat food?" "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "When she makes dinner, she never eats. She just watches me eat, and she never blinks. Not even once." Brooklyn dismissed it as childhood imagination, but she decided to install a nanny cam, just to be safe. What she saw in the footage made her question her sanity. At exactly 9 p.m., after Aiden had gone to bed, Lily would sit in the living room, perfectly still, staring at the ceiling. She wouldn't move for hours. Not to check her phone, not to use the bathroom, not even to shift position. She sat like a statue until Wyatt and Brooklyn returned. But the truly disturbing part came when Brooklyn fast-forwarded through the footage. In the sped-up video, she could see Aiden's bedroom door opening and closing repeatedly throughout the night. Someone, or something, was going in and out of her son's room while Lily sat motionless downstairs. Brooklyn confronted Lily the next evening before they left for dinner. The camera picked up some unusual activity in Aiden's room. "Can you explain that?" Lily's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind her eyes. "I told you never to go into his room after 9 p.m. There are things that need to be left undisturbed." "What things? What's going on with my son?" Lily stepped closer, and Brooklyn noticed for the first time that the girl's pupils were completely dilated, making her eyes look almost black. "Aiden has a gift," Lily whispered. "He can see them. The children who never got to grow up. They're drawn to him because his life force is so strong, so pure. They want to play, to remember what it felt like to be alive." Brooklyn's hands began to shake. "You're scaring me, Lily. The rules exist to protect him. After 9 p.m., they come to visit. If you disturb them, they might decide to stay permanently. They might decide that one living child is enough and that the others should join them." That night, Brooklyn and Wyatt canceled their dinner plans. They sent Lily home and decided to watch Aiden themselves. At exactly 9 p.m., they heard their son's voice through the baby monitor. "Hi, friends. Did you miss me? Lily says you can only visit when she's here, but she's gone tonight." Wyatt started toward the stairs, but Brooklyn grabbed his arm. Through the monitor, they could hear multiple children's voices responding to Aiden, voices of children they'd never heard before. "We missed you so much, Aiden. Can we play forever this time? Can you come with us?" Brooklyn and Wyatt looked at each other with growing terror. They realized that Lily hadn't been the problem. She'd been the solution. Her rules had been protecting their son from something far worse. When they called Lily's number, it was disconnected. They tried the address she'd given them, but the house was empty with a for rent sign that looked like it had been there for months. The Parker family seemed to have it all together from the outside, but inside their pristine suburban home, chaos reigned. Mark worked 60-hour weeks. Everly was overwhelmed with their newborn twins, and their 7-year-old daughter Luna was acting out, desperate for attention. That's when Everly's mother suggested getting a mother's helper, a young person to assist with childcare and light household duties. Through a local parenting group, they found 16-year-old Nova Summers, who seemed mature beyond her years and had excellent references. Nova was a godsend. She arrived every afternoon at 3 p.m. and stayed until 8 p.m., helping with homework, preparing dinner, and entertaining Luna while Everly managed the twins. For the first time in months, Everly felt like she could breathe. But Luna began having nightmares. "Nova isn't normal, Mommy," she whispered one night, crawling into her parents' bed. "She knows things she shouldn't know." "What kind of things, honey?" "She knows about the baby that went away before the twins came. She knows about Daddy's work problems. She knows about the times you cry in the bathroom." Everly's blood chilled. She had suffered a miscarriage 6 months before the twins were born, something they'd never discussed in front of Luna. And Mark had been having serious problems at work, but they'd been careful to keep those conversations private. The next day, Everly decided to observe more carefully. She pretended to nap while Nova was there, listening to her interaction with Luna. "Your mommy is very sad," she heard Nova say. "She pretends to be happy, but inside she's breaking. Would you like me to make her feel better?" "Ow," Luna asked. "There are ways, old ways, but you have to help me. You have to bring me something that belongs to her, something she touches every day." Everly's heart raced. She heard Luna's footsteps going toward the master bedroom. When Everly confronted Nova that evening, the girl's response was unervingly calm. "Luna is worried about you, Mrs. Parker. She can see how much you're suffering. I was only trying to help." "Help how? What were you planning to do with my belongings?" Luna smiled, and Everly noticed that her teeth seemed too sharp, too white. "Pain calls to pain, Mrs. Parker. Your sadness is so strong. It's attracting things, dark things. I can help you redirect that energy. Use it for protection instead of destruction." "I want you to leave," Everly said, her voice shaking. "Don't come back." But Nova didn't leave. Instead, she pulled out her phone and showed Everly a video that made her gasp. It was security footage from their home, footage that showed Everly sleepwalking through the house at night, standing over the twins' cribs for long periods, sometimes holding pillows. "You don't remember, do you?" Nova asked gently. "The grief is eating you alive, Mrs. Parker. Every night, it gets stronger. Every night, you get closer to doing something you'll regret forever." Everly watched the footage in horror. In the videos, her face was blank, emotionless, as she stood over her sleeping children. She had no memory of these episodes at all. "I can help you," Nova continued. "But you have to trust me. You have to let me do what needs to be done." That night, Everly locked herself in the guest room, terrified of what she might do in her sleep. But she was awakened at 3 a.m. by Luna's screams. She ran to her daughter's room and found Nova there, sitting on the edge of Luna's bed, holding a small cloth doll that looked disturbingly like Everly. "It's almost done," Nova whispered. "Your pain is being transferred. Soon you'll be free." Everly grabbed Luna and backed toward the door, but Nova continued talking. "The doll will carry your grief, your guilt, your rage. But dolls need to be fed, Mrs. Parker. They need to be nourished with the thing they represent. And this doll looks just like you." Everly realized with dawning horror that Nova hadn't been helping her. She'd been preparing to replace her. The girl was planning to take over Everly's life, her family, her identity. As she held Luna tight and called 911, Everly watched Nova's form begin to shimmer and fade. The last thing she heard before the girl disappeared completely was her voice, now distorted and otherworldly. "You can't run from what you are, Everly. The grief will find you. And when it does, I'll be waiting." These three families learned the hard way that sometimes the help we desperately seek comes with a price far greater than we're prepared to pay. Whether it's the pursuit of perfection, the need for trust, or the desire to escape our darkest impulses, our vulnerabilities as parents can make us targets for things that feed on desperation and love turn toxic. The most terrifying part? Each of these stories began with the most natural thing in the world, a parent trying to do what's best for their child. If these stories kept you on the edge of your seat, please give this video a like and subscribe for more chilling tales. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever experienced something unexplainable while caring for children? Share your stories below, but maybe check that your doors are locked first. Until next time, remember, the most horrifying monsters aren't the ones hiding under the bed. They're the ones we invite into our homes.